Hey guys, tonight we're embarking on a journey to the sun-drenched shores of 18th century Polynesia. A world teeming with life, vibrant cultures, and an absolutely incredible plant that shaped everything. Imagine for a moment, you've just spent months adrift on a wooden vessel, the relentless sun beating down, the endless horizon a blur of blue and gray. Your water rations are dwindling, the salt spray has cracked your lips, and every muscle aches from the constant rocking. Then, on the shimmering edge of perception, a verdant line appears, growing steadily into a lush, emerald island. You smell the rich earth, the sweet perfume of frangipani, and a curious, nutty scent carried on the breeze. You stumble onto the beach, your feet sinking into the warm, soft sand, and there, towering above you, are hundreds of majestic palms, their fronds swaying like welcoming arms. Now you probably won't survive this, not without knowing how to truly live off the land. But that's precisely what the islanders did, with the humble coconut as their lifeline. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're at it, let me know where you're listening from tonight and what time it is for you right now. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. As you settle onto the pristine, coral-flecked beach of this untouched Polynesian island in, let's say, 1775, the first thing that strikes you, beyond the sheer, overwhelming beauty, is the pervasive presence of the coconut palm. It's not just a tree, it's the very backbone of life here. You look up, the sheer number of these towering giants almost dizzying, their slender trunks reaching for the heavens, crowned with a burst of fronds from which hang clusters of green and yellow orbs. You hear the rhythmic thud as one, heavy with its bounty, detaches from its stem and plummets to the ground, a natural alarm clock for anyone not paying attention. The sound makes you flinch, but the islanders, nimble and unconcerned, barely register it, their hands already moving with practiced ease towards the fallen fruit. For a moment, let's step into the shoes of an early European explorer, perhaps someone from Captain Cook's crew, charting these waters for the first time. They'd be struck by the sheer ingenuity and integration of the coconut into daily life. You watch, fascinated, as a young islander, no older than 12, scales a palm with astonishing agility, using only small notches cut into the trunk and the grip of his bare feet. He moves with a grace that defies gravity, a testament to generations of adaptation. He's not just climbing for a snack, he's accessing the island's primary source of hydration, nourishment, and material for almost everything else. You might be used to your nice, clean well water, but here, the coconut provides a living, breathing, hydrating solution, conveniently packaged. It's the ultimate sustainable beverage dispenser, pre-chilled by the island's gentle breezes. This isn't merely a supplementary food source, it's foundational. The early Polynesians didn't just use coconuts, they lived them. From the moment you arrive, you see it everywhere. The fibrous husks piled neatly, the smooth, dark shells cleaned and ready for use, the rich white meat being grated or pressed. It's a mainstream historical fact that indigenous Polynesian communities cultivated and relied on the coconut palm, Cocos nucifera, as a cornerstone of their subsistence economy and culture, long before European contact. They knew its secrets, its cycles, its immense potential, passed down through oral traditions and practical application over countless generations. You observe how a woman meticulously peels the outer husk of a green coconut, revealing the hard inner shell. She then expertly taps it with a stone tool, creating a perfect hole from which clear, refreshing water streams. It's cool, slightly sweet, and instantly quenches the thirst that has been gnawing at you for weeks. This isn't just water, it's an elixir, a taste of life itself after the monotony of shipboard existence. And it's not just about hydration. You notice how different coconuts are handled in different ways. Some are husked and left to dry in the sun. Others are cracked open immediately for their tender meat, which is scraped out with a shell tool. This tender, jelly-like meat from young coconuts, known as niu in some Polynesian languages, is a delightful surprise, melt in your mouth soft and subtly sweet. It's nothing like the shredded coconut you might find in a grocery store back home. This is fresh, pure, and incredibly nutritious. You think about your ship's biscuit, dry and bland, and compare it to this bounty, and it's like comparing a stone to a feast. This isn't just about survival. It's about thriving, about a rich, interconnected existence woven into the very fabric of the environment. Historians still argue whether the widespread distribution of coconuts across the Pacific was primarily due to natural ocean currents, carrying viable seeds, or deliberate human cultivation and transportation by voyaging canoes. But either way, they are utterly ubiquitous here. It's hard to imagine life without them. You're starting to see why they call it the tree of life. As you continue to immerse yourself in the rhythm of island life, the centrality of the coconut as a primary food source becomes even more apparent. It's not just the refreshing water or the tender young meat. The mature coconut, with its firm, rich flesh, is where the real culinary magic happens. You watch as women gather the older, brown coconuts that have fallen from the trees, their husks already browning and drying. These aren't just for drinking. They hold a dense, high-energy treasure within. You observe a group of women, their hands moving with swift, practiced grace, using a simple yet ingenious grater carved from wood or coral. They brace the half-shell against their thigh or a sturdy piece of wood and scrape the white meat into fluffy mounds. The efficiency of this process is mesmerizing. Within minutes, a single coconut is transformed into a pile of snowy white flakes, ready for the next stage of its delicious journey. This grated coconut meat is the foundation of countless dishes. You see it mixed with pounded taro or breadfruit, creating a rich, satisfying paste that's then steamed or baked in an earth oven. The flavors are subtle, earthy, and deeply comforting. It's not just a filler. It adds a creamy texture and a distinctive, nutty sweetness that elevates everything it touches. Imagine trying to explain to your family back home that your main staple is a root vegetable mixed with tree nuts. They'd probably think you've joined some exotic cult, rather than just found the most practical and delicious way to eat. But perhaps the most transformative use of the mature coconut meat is the extraction of its rich, versatile milk. You watch as the grated coconut is gathered into a fibrous cloth or a woven basket. Strong hands then squeeze and press, the liquid seeping out, white and opaque, into waiting wooden bowls. This is not the thin, watery milk you might think of. This is a thick, creamy concoction, brimming with flavor and essential fats. It's the islanders' equivalent of cream, butter, and often, even cooking oil, all in one. You see it poured over fresh fish, marinating it before it's wrapped in banana leaves and cooked over hot stones. The aroma as it cooks is incredible, a blend of sweet, savory, and a hint of the ocean. It's a mainstream historical fact that coconut milk, derived from the grated meat of mature coconuts, was a fundamental ingredient in a vast array of Polynesian culinary practices, serving as a base for stews, sauces, and as a rich condiment. It provided crucial calories and nutrients in a diet that might otherwise have lacked diverse fats. You witness how this milk is used to tenderize tougher meats, to enrich starches, and to simply enhance the flavor of raw fish, creating a dish known as oka or poison cru, depending on the island. A refreshing, tangy, and utterly delightful preparation you quickly become addicted to. The fresh, tangy lime or citrus juice, often from native fruits, cooks the fish, and the coconut milk adds a layer of luxuriousness you never expected from a simple fish and fruit combo. A quirky tidbit you learn is that the Polynesians had specific terms and uses for coconuts at every single stage of their growth. From the very young, mostly water-filled coconut, to the udo, a sprouting coconut with a spongy, sweet internal mass. Each stage offered a unique flavor and texture profile, providing seasonal variety in their diet. It's not just a coconut, it's a living, evolving pantry item. Imagine if your potatoes had 20 different distinct culinary stages throughout their growth cycle. It's that level of detailed understanding and utilization. This meticulous approach speaks volumes about their deep ecological knowledge and their sustainable way of life. And while some historians still debate whether certain ancient Polynesian groups prioritized protein intake from fish and fowl over carbohydrate-rich staples like taro and breadfruit, the consistent presence and culinary versatility of coconut meat and milk suggest its undeniable role as a significant caloric and nutritional anchor in their daily sustenance. You come to realize that for these island communities, the coconut wasn't just food. It was a living, breathing larder, always accessible, always regenerating, providing a constant, reliable source of sustenance in a landscape that might seem, to an outsider, limited. You're definitely not going hungry here, not with these magical fruit at your disposal. You feel a sense of profound admiration for how intimately connected these people are to their environment, understanding and harnessing its gifts with such profound efficiency. The versatility of the coconut extends far beyond solid food and fresh drinks. It delves into the realm of fermentation, transforming simple sap into complex, invigorating beverages. You observe the ingenious method used to tap the flower spathe of the coconut palm, a process that requires both skill and patience. A young man climbs a palm, his movements fluid and precise, and carefully binds the unopened flower stalk. Over several days, he gently massages and bends it, encouraging the sap to flow. Then, he makes a small incision at the tip and attaches a hollow bamboo container or a calabash gourd to collect the dripping liquid. This clear, sweet sap is known as toddy, and it's the base for a range of fermented products. Initially, the toddy is a sweet, non-alcoholic drink, rich in sugars and nutrients, a refreshing pick-me-up on a hot day. You taste it and it's surprisingly delicate, with a subtle sweetness that hints at something more. But as the day progresses, and the natural yeasts in the air begin their work, the sugars convert into alcohol. What starts as a gentle sweetness slowly develops a mild effervescence and a tangy, alcoholic kick. You see groups gathered around communal bowls of this fermenting toddy, laughter and conversation, flowing as freely as the drink itself. It's a social lubricant, a celebratory beverage, and a staple of gatherings. It's a mainstream historical fact that the production of toddy from the coconut flower spathe and its subsequent fermentation into alcoholic beverages was a common practice across many Pacific islands, serving both social and ceremonial purposes. This wasn't about getting completely inebriated. It was about shared experiences, community bonding, and often marking significant events. Imagine trying to explain to a European naval officer that your primary form of alcohol comes from a tree and it's harvested daily. They'd probably be scratching their heads, comparing it to their strong rums and wines, and likely missing the subtle artistry involved in this natural brew. Beyond the fresh and mildly alcoholic toddy, you discover its further transformation. Left to ferment longer, the toddy eventually turns into a potent coconut vinegar. This vinegar, sharp and tangy, isn't consumed as a beverage, but is an invaluable ingredient in the Polynesian kitchen. You see it used as a preservative for fish and meats, a natural pickling agent, and a souring agent in various dishes, balancing the richness of coconut milk and other ingredients. It adds a crucial acidic note that brightens flavors and aids in digestion. It's a testament to their no-waste philosophy, ensuring that every drop of the coconut's bounty is utilized. A quirky tidbit you learn is that some Polynesian communities had specific, highly ritualized ceremonies for the tapping of the coconut spathe. involving chants and offerings to ensure a bountiful flow of toddy. It wasn't just an agricultural task. It was a sacred interaction with the plant, acknowledging its life-giving spirit. This reverence for the coconut extended to every aspect of its use, highlighting its profound cultural significance. You start to understand that every interaction with this plant is infused with meaning, far beyond its practical applications. It's a connection that goes back centuries, rooted in a deep respect for nature's provisions. Historians still argue whether the development of these fermentation techniques arose independently across different island groups, or if they were spread through extensive voyaging and cultural exchange. Regardless of its origin, the mastery of turning sweet sap into invigorating drinks and practical vinegars speaks volumes about the Polynesians' sophisticated understanding of natural processes. You see that this isn't just about resourcefulness. It's about a profound, almost intimate relationship with the environment. They didn't just harvest, they coaxed, they nurtured, they transformed. You realize that even in something as seemingly simple as a drink, there's a deep layer of cultural knowledge and wisdom. You feel a faint buzz from the slightly fermented toddy, a pleasant warmth spreading through your chest, and a profound sense of connection to this ancient, ingenious way of life. The uses of the coconut continue to unfold before you, revealing layers of utility that would astound your European counterparts. Once the fresh water and tender meat are consumed, and even the mature meat has been grated, the remaining pulp holds yet another precious commodity. Oil. You observe the laborious but rewarding process of extracting coconut oil, a substance so fundamental to Polynesian life that it served countless purposes, from cooking to cosmetics to practical applications. There are several methods you witness for oil extraction, each varying slightly in efficiency but consistently yielding a rich, pure oil. One common technique involves grating the mature coconut meat, as you saw before, but then allowing this grated pulp to ferment slightly, which helps to separate the oil. After fermentation, the pulp is gently heated over a low fire, causing the oil to slowly seep out. Another, perhaps more direct, method involves simply pressing the grated coconut meat, often with the aid of heavy stones or a simple lever press, to squeeze out the milky emulsion, which is then left to settle. The cream rises to the top, and after a gentle heating, or sometimes even just sun exposure, the pure oil separates, glistening and clear. It's a mainstream historical fact that cold-pressed or naturally separated coconut oil was extensively produced and utilized across Polynesian societies, serving as a vital source of dietary fat, a cosmetic, and a medicinal base. You watch as women collect the oil in calabash gourds or polished coconut shells, storing it carefully. This oil is not just for consumption. You see it liberally applied to the skin, gleaming on the islanders' dark, healthy complexions. It acts as a natural moisturizer, protecting them from the harsh sun and salt water, preventing dryness and cracking. It gives their skin a healthy sheen, and you start to wonder if your own sun-chapped face could use a good dollop of this natural wonder. Forget your fancy European lotions. This is the real deal. But its cosmetic uses don't stop there. You see it massaged into long, lustrous hair, keeping it soft, strong, and free from tangles. The very scent of coconut oil becomes synonymous with the island, a gentle, sweet aroma that lingers in the air. Imagine your shipmates trying to use their harsh, drying soaps after months at sea. The Polynesians knew a thing or two about natural self-care. It's almost as if they had a full spa treatment built into their daily routine, entirely courtesy of this one remarkable fruit. And then there are the less obvious but equally vital uses. You notice that the oil is often blended with fragrant flowers or leaves, creating scented oils used in ceremonies, for massage, and as a natural perfume. This adds an extra layer of sensory delight to their lives. A quirky tidbit you observe is that some islanders would even mix coconut oil with ground turmeric, or other natural pigments to create body paints for ceremonial dances, or as a protective layer against insects, effectively combining beauty, utility, and ritual into one application. It's truly a multi-purpose concoction. Furthermore, the oil serves as a natural insect repellent, particularly against mosquitoes, a persistent nuisance in tropical climates. A light sheen of oil on the skin provides a barrier, keeping the itchy bites at bay. You quickly learn to appreciate this particular application, especially after a few encounters with the buzzing critters. Historians still argue whether the primary method of oil extraction was through heating or cold pressing in different island groups. Given the varying resource availability and traditional techniques, but its widespread use and immense value are undisputed. You realize that this golden liquid is far more than just a culinary fat. It's a protector, a healer, and a symbol of their resourcefulness. You feel a sudden urge to slather some on yourself, if only to experience the relief from the relentless sun and the ubiquitous insect chorus. The ingenuity never ceases to amaze you. Beyond its roles in sustenance, cosmetics, and social life, the coconut holds a profound place in Polynesian traditional medicine, a testament to the islanders' intimate knowledge of their environment and its healing properties. You witness the subtle, yet powerful, ways in which different parts of the coconut palm are employed to alleviate ailments, treat injuries, and maintain overall well-being. It's a holistic approach, where the plant isn't just a resource, but a pharmacy. Firstly, you learn about the medicinal uses of coconut water. While incredibly hydrating, it's also recognized for its electrolyte-rich properties, making it an excellent natural rehydration solution. You see it administered to those suffering from fever or dehydration, a simple yet effective remedy that prevents more severe complications. Imagine a situation where modern intravenous fluids are non-existent. Here, nature provides its own perfect solution, conveniently packaged in a green orb. It's a mainstream historical fact that coconut water was traditionally used as a rehydrating agent and a general tonic across many Polynesian cultures, valued for its purity and mineral content. Then there's the versatile coconut oil. Its anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties are well understood by the islanders. You observe how it's gently massaged into sore muscles or aching joints, providing relief. More remarkably, you see it applied to cuts, scrapes, and minor burns. The oil forms a protective barrier, keeping out infection, while its natural compounds aid in the healing process. It's the islanders' go-to first aid ointment, effective and readily available. You might have brought a small tin of antiseptic salve from your ship, but theirs is far more integrated into daily life and completely natural. A quirky tidbit you discover is that the fibrous husk of the coconut was sometimes burned, and the resulting ash mixed with coconut oil to create a paste. This paste was then applied to certain skin conditions, or used as a mild astringent for minor wounds, showcasing a sophisticated understanding of combining different elements of the plant for enhanced medicinal effect. It's a resourceful, almost alchemical transformation of waste into remedy. They truly waste nothing, not even the ash from what seems like mere debris. You also learn about the uses of other parts of the palm. The young, tender leaves are sometimes heated and applied as poultices to soothe swelling or draw out infections. The root system, though less commonly used, is occasionally prepared as a decoction for digestive issues or as a diuretic. You witness how traditional healers, or kahuna lau lapau in Hawaiian, use specific prayers and rituals alongside the plant remedies, recognizing the spiritual as well as the physical aspects of healing. Their knowledge is passed down through generations, a sacred trust. Historians still argue whether the efficacy of some of these traditional coconut-based remedies was primarily due to their direct pharmacological properties, or if the placebo effect and holistic healing practices played a more significant role in the overall well-being of the communities. Regardless, the belief in the coconut's healing power was deeply ingrained. You see the genuine relief on people's faces after treatment, a testament to the trust they place in these age-old remedies. You gain immense respect for their traditional knowledge, realizing that long before modern pharmacology, these islanders had unlocked many of nature's secrets, thanks in large part to the humble, yet mighty, coconut. You might scoff at some of the remedies, but when you see them work, you can't help but be impressed. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the simplest solutions are the most profound. Beyond food, drink, medicine, and beauty, the coconut palm stands as a towering pillar of Polynesian architecture and daily construction. You witness how virtually every part of the tree, from its sturdy trunk to its pliable fronds, is transformed into essential building materials, demonstrating an incredible ingenuity and a deep understanding of natural resources. Imagine trying to build your house entirely out of what grows around you, with no sawmills or hardware stores. That's the reality here, and the coconut is their foundation. The most obvious contribution comes from the trunk of the palm. While not as straight or large as some forest trees, the sturdy, fibrous wood of the coconut trunk is nonetheless invaluable. You see it used as posts for smaller dwellings or as crossbeams in more substantial structures. It's dense and resilient, capable of withstanding the tropical elements. After a tree has ceased bearing fruit or has fallen, its trunk is carefully cut and prepared. You watch as men painstakingly debark and shape the trunks, often using adzes made from stone or shell, a laborious but necessary task to ensure the longevity of the timber. It's a mainstream historical fact that coconut palm trunks were utilized as structural timber for houses, shelters, and other constructions in many Polynesian island communities due to their availability and durability. However, the fronds of the coconut palm are perhaps even more widely used, especially for roofing and walls. You observe women and children deftly weaving the long, slender fronds into intricate mats and panels. These panels, when layered correctly, provide excellent protection from the sun and, surprisingly, effective waterproofing against tropical downpours. The rhythmic sound of weaving becomes a constant backdrop to village life, a testament to the communal effort involved in house building. Imagine having to make every single shingle for your roof by hand from leaves. It's a commitment, but the results are beautiful and functional. A quirky tidbit you learn is that the traditional thatched roofs made from coconut fronds were designed not just for waterproofing, but also for excellent air circulation. The gaps between the layers, while preventing rain from entering, allowed warm air to escape, keeping the interior surprisingly cool even on the hottest days. It's an ancient form of natural air conditioning, far more eco-friendly than anything you've seen back home. They understood climate control centuries before your fancy thermostats were even a concept. But the coconut's contribution doesn't end there. The coir, the coarse fiber extracted from the husks, is spun into incredibly strong ropes and cordage. This rope is crucial for lashing together the wooden components of houses, securing roof timbers, and tying down mats. Without nails or screws, these coir ropes are the very glue that holds their architecture together. You watch as men and women twist and braid the fibers, their fingers working with remarkable speed and precision. The sheer strength of this natural rope is astonishing. It can withstand immense tension and exposure to the elements. Historians still argue whether the architectural styles and construction techniques using coconut materials evolved independently on each island, or if there was a widespread diffusion of knowledge through inter-island voyaging and cultural exchange. What is clear, however, is the universal adaptability of the coconut palm to meet the diverse structural needs of Polynesian societies. You see that these are not just simple huts. They are homes built with an intimate knowledge of their environment, designed to withstand the elements, and constructed entirely from the generous offerings of the land. You realize that your own sophisticated building techniques, reliant on imported materials, seem almost clumsy compared to this elegant, sustainable system. You feel a profound respect for a people who literally built their world from the ground up, using only what nature provided, mostly in the form of this incredible tree. As you continue your immersive journey into 18th century Polynesian life, the coconut's utility extends into the realm of everyday objects, tools, and artistic expression. It becomes clear that no part of this miraculous palm goes to waste. Even the hardened shell and fibrous husk are transformed into an astonishing array of practical and decorative items, showcasing the islanders' profound resourcefulness and craftsmanship. Once the water and meat are consumed, the tough, woody shell of the mature coconut is carefully cleaned and polished. You observe how these shells, varying in size and shape, are meticulously crafted into bowls, cups, and ladles. With simple abrasive materials like sand and coral, they are smoothed and sometimes intricately carved with geometric patterns or stylized depictions of marine life. These aren't just utilitarian items. Many are works of art, reflecting the aesthetic sensibilities of their makers. You see a woman serving a meal in a beautifully polished coconut shell bowl, the rich brown surface gleaming in the firelight. It's practical, durable, and naturally beautiful. It's a mainstream historical fact that polished coconut shells were widely used as containers for food, drink, and storage across Polynesian societies, often serving as the primary tableware. Imagine going into your kitchen and realizing every bowl and cup you own was once part of a fruit. It's a far cry from your porcelain dishes, but infinitely more sustainable and connected to the land. You realize that their entire material culture, in many ways, starts with this one plant. Beyond simple containers, the shells are also adapted for more specialized tools. You see them fashioned into scoops for bailing water from canoes, into measuring cups for food preparation, and even into parts of fishing lures or hooks. Their smooth, hard surface perfect for attracting fish. The ingenuity in adapting these natural forms to specific functions is truly remarkable. A quirky tidbit you observe is how some islanders would even use smaller, perfectly formed coconut shells as floats for their fishing nets, or string them together to create rudimentary musical instruments, producing rhythmic clicks and clacks for dances and ceremonies. It's an example of how their creativity transcended mere necessity, finding beauty and sound in unexpected places. And then there's the coir, the coarse, reddish-brown fiber found between the outer husk and the inner shell. As you've already seen, this fiber is painstakingly extracted, often by soaking the husks in water for weeks to soften them, then pounding and separating the fibers. This process is laborious, but the resulting coir is incredibly strong, durable, and resistant to saltwater decay, an absolute necessity for maritime cultures. You watch as nimble fingers twist and braid these fibers into robust cordage, essential for almost every aspect of island life. This coir rope, remember from before, is vital for building houses and securing outrigger canoes, but its uses extend further. You see it woven into durable fishing nets, strong enough to withstand the pull of large catches. It's used to make tough, resilient mats for sleeping and sitting, providing insulation from the ground. Smaller, finer strands are even used for decorative lashing on tools and weapons, adding both strength and aesthetic appeal. Historians still argue whether the primary development of coir technology originated with one dominant voyaging culture and then spread, or if the necessity of robust cordage led to parallel innovations across different island groups, but its importance is undeniable. You come to appreciate that every piece of cordage, every woven mat, every drinking cup is a testament to the coconut's unending generosity and the islanders' masterful hands. You can almost feel the rough texture of the coir rope, imagining the hours of effort that went into its creation, a quiet symphony of resourcefulness. As your understanding of Polynesian life deepens, you discover that the coconut's influence isn't limited to the practical. It permeates the very fabric of identity and personal expression through clothing and adornment. While woven pandanus and other plant fibers form the primary textiles, the coconut palm provides crucial elements for both construction and decoration, allowing for both modesty and elaborate self-expression. You observe that simple everyday garments, often wraparound skirts or loincloths, are crafted from beaten bark cloth or woven mats made from pandanus leaves. But it's the fine fibers from young coconut leaves, processed to be more pliable, that are sometimes woven into specific, more delicate accessories or used for intricate lashing on more ceremonial garments. Imagine the soft rustle of these natural fabrics as people move, a constant whisper of the island around them. It's a far cry from your tightly woven European wools, but perfectly suited to the warm, humid climate. It's a mainstream historical fact that while barkcloth tapa and pandanus leaves were primary materials for clothing across Polynesia, coconut fibers, particularly coir, were extensively used for belts, armbands, and decorative lashing on garments and headdresses, adding strength and aesthetic detail. You see coir braided into thick, durable belts worn by men, capable of holding tools or weapons. Finer strands are sometimes used to create elaborate headbands, adorned with feathers or shells, signifying status or ceremonial readiness. A quirky tidbit you notice is that the coconut's influence on adornment often went beyond just using its fibers. The smooth, dark coconut shells, as you saw before, were not only fashioned into bowls, but also into polished, decorative pieces. Smaller, intricately carved pieces of coconut shell were sometimes strung together to create necklaces, bracelets, or anklets, their dark luster contrasting beautifully with light-colored shells or teeth. Imagine the patient artistry required to carve and polish these delicate adornments, each piece a small tribute to the coconut's beauty. Furthermore, the coconut oil, as we discussed, becomes a base for body adornment. Mixed with natural pigments derived from plants or earth, the oil transforms into vibrant body paints used for ceremonies, dances, or to denote tribal affiliation. You witness individuals with intricate patterns painted on their skin, glistening with coconut oil, creating a mesmerizing spectacle. The oil ensures the pigments adhere smoothly and gives the skin a healthy, vibrant glow, a living canvas of cultural expression. They're not just wearing clothes, they're telling stories on their skin, stories made possible by the coconut. Historians still argue whether the specific patterns and symbolism used in Polynesian body adornment, including those facilitated by coconut products, were primarily designed for aesthetic appeal, tribal identification, spiritual protection, or a combination of all three. However, the sheer variety and artistry evident in their personal adornment underscore the deep connection between the people and their environment, particularly the coconut palm. You realize that your own European clothing, often designed to conceal and conform, stands in stark contrast to this vibrant, natural, and expressive form of self-presentation. You feel a sense of wonder at how these islanders, with seemingly limited resources, create such rich and meaningful expressions of identity, all thanks to the humble coconut. You might be tempted to try a bit of coconut oil on your skin, just to see if you can achieve that healthy glow. For the voyaging people of Polynesia, the ocean was not a barrier but a highway, and the coconut palm played an indispensable role in making those incredible journeys possible. As you observe the majestic outrigger canoes being constructed and maintained, you begin to grasp the profound maritime significance of this versatile tree. It's not just about what they ate or wore. It's about how they navigated the vast Pacific, connecting distant islands and sustaining their culture across thousands of miles of open water. The most striking application is the use of coconut wood and coir in canoe construction. While the main hull of a large voyaging canoe might be carved from the trunk of a breadfruit or native hardwood tree, parts of the outriggers, booms, and crossbeams can often be made from the lighter, yet sturdy, coconut palm wood. Its fibrous nature provides flexibility, which is crucial for a vessel constantly battling ocean swells. But it's the coir, the incredibly strong fiber from the coconut husk, that truly binds these magnificent vessels together. Remember that exceptionally strong rope from Section 7. It's even more critical here. You watch as master builders meticulously lash together every component of a canoe using miles of intricately braided coir rope. Without metal fasteners, these bindings must be incredibly durable and resistant to saltwater degradation. The flexibility of the coir allows the canoe structure to flex and absorb the shock of waves, preventing breakage. It's a mainstream historical fact that coconut coir cordage was the primary lashing material for Polynesian voyaging canoes, vital for their structural integrity and resilience against the harsh marine environment. Imagine building a boat with no nails, just rope. It sounds impossible, but their techniques proved it wasn't, allowing them to cross vast oceans. Furthermore, the coir finds its way into the very fabric of their sails. While pandanus leaves were often woven into large, efficient sails, coir fibers were sometimes incorporated or used for the rigging and lines that controlled the sail, adding strength and longevity. You see the powerful, crab-claw-shaped sails catching the wind, propelling these magnificent vessels across the waves, each strand of coir a testament to hundreds of hours of patient work. A quirky tidbit you learn is that the coconut itself, in its fresh, unopened form, also served as a crucial supply during long voyages. Its contained water and nourishing meat provided a portable, self-contained food and water source that could sustain a crew for weeks. Moreover, a partially sprouted coconut, known as yudo, containing a spongy, sweet, and highly nutritious core, was specifically valued for its ability to provide sustained energy on demanding journeys. It was their equivalent of a compact superfood ration pack, designed by nature. They were literally sailing with their food and water on the tree. Even after a voyage, the coconut played a role in maintaining the canoes. Coconut oil, beyond its cosmetic and culinary uses, was occasionally rubbed into the wooden hulls of canoes to help protect them from rot and marine borers, offering a natural sealant. Historians still argue whether the development of such highly refined voyaging techniques, including the specialized use of coconut materials, originated from a single center of innovation or evolved independently across different archipelagos. But the sheer scale of their migrations and discoveries is undeniable. You stand on the shore, watching a sleek outrigger glide out of sight, and you feel an immense respect for these master navigators. Their ability to harness the power of the coconut, from its sturdy trunk to its fibrous husk, allowed them to conquer the vast, unpredictable Pacific, pushing the boundaries of human exploration and connection, truly connecting their world one coconut-laced voyage at a time. As dusk settles over the Polynesian village, casting long shadows from the swaying palms, another vital role of the coconut emerges: its contribution to warmth, cooking, and illumination. In a world without readily available fossil fuels or complex electrical grids, the coconut provides a natural, sustainable source of energy, ensuring that life continues even after the sun dips below the horizon. You observe the preparation of the evening meal. The husks and shells of mature coconuts, discarded after their water and meat have been used, are not wasted. Instead, they are carefully gathered and dried in the sun, transforming into excellent, long-burning fuel. When ignited, they smolder steadily, producing a consistent heat perfect for earth ovens, umu, or lavo, or open fires. The sweet, earthy aroma of burning coconut husks fills the air, mingling with the scent of cooking food. It's a smell that quickly becomes synonymous with warmth and sustenance in your mind. Imagine trying to start your campfire with just a few twigs when you have these readily available, perfect fuel sources. It's a mainstream historical fact that coconut husks and shells were widely used as fuel for cooking fires and general heating across Polynesian islands, prized for their calorific value and slow-burning properties. You watch as a woman carefully places hot coconut shells around food wrapped in banana leaves, burying it all in the earth oven. The consistent, gentle heat allows the food to slow cook to perfection, infusing it with subtle smoky flavors. This isn't just about cooking. It's a sophisticated method of preparing food that maximizes flavor and nutrient retention, all thanks to the discarded parts of the coconut. But the coconut's role in providing energy extends beyond just fire. The rich, thick coconut oil, which you saw extracted earlier, also serves as a crucial source of illumination. You see small, shallow bowls, often made from polished coconut shells, filled with the glistening oil. A twisted wick, perhaps made from a piece of bark cloth or a finely braided coconut fiber, floats in the oil. When lit, it produces a steady, soft glow, chasing away the darkness. These simple oil lamps provide enough light for evening activities, storytelling, or simply quiet contemplation. A quirky tidbit you notice is that sometimes, for special occasions or extended periods of light, a series of candle nuts, Allurites mollicanus, a naturally oily nut, would be strung together on a stick, each nut poked and lit in sequence. However, in regions where candle nuts were less common, or for everyday use, coconut oil was the ubiquitous and reliable source of continuous light. It's a wonderfully efficient and readily available alternative to the flickering and often smelly tallow candles you might be used to back home. Imagine a soft, warm glow, free from smoke and soot, illuminating the faces of storytellers and listeners alike. Historians still argue whether the development of specific fire-starting techniques and lamp designs using coconut derivatives evolved independently across different island groups, or if there was a diffusion of such knowledge through sustained cultural contact. Regardless, the mastery of harnessing the coconut for both heat and light is a testament to the Polynesians' profound understanding of their natural environment and their ability to extract maximum utility from every available resource. You sit by the soft glow of a coconut oil lamp, feeling the warmth of the communal fire, and you realize how intimately connected every aspect of their existence is to this single, extraordinary plant. The darkness outside seems less intimidating, knowing that the coconut ensures warmth, cooked food, and a comforting light. You almost wish you could take some of these natural lamps back to your ship, especially on those long, dark nights at sea. Beyond its practical, tangible uses, the coconut palm holds a deeply spiritual and social significance in Polynesian cultures. It's not merely a resource. It's imbued with mana, a sacred power, and woven into the very fabric of their rituals, ceremonies, and social structures. You begin to understand that to truly comprehend the coconut's importance, you must also understand its symbolic weight. One of the most powerful expressions of this spiritual connection is the coconut's role in offerings and ceremonies. You witness a solemn ritual where young, perfectly formed coconuts are presented as offerings to the gods or ancestral spirits at a sacred mari, an open-air stone platform. The purity of the water within, the life-sustaining meat, and the tree's enduring nature make it a perfect symbol of abundance, life, and connection to the divine. It's a mainstream historical fact that coconuts were frequently used as ritual offerings in various Polynesian religious ceremonies, symbolizing fertility, life, and sustenance, and establishing a connection between the human and spiritual realms. Imagine trying to explain to a European priest that your sacrament is a fruit, but for these people, it holds profound meaning. Furthermore, the The coconut palm is often associated with creation myths and ancestral lineages. In some traditions, the first coconut is said to have sprung from the burial site of a revered ancestor, or it is linked to a deity, reinforcing its sacred status. You hear stories whispered around the fire about the coconut's origins, tales that connect the very existence of the people to this plant. It's not just a tree, it's a living monument to their past and their spiritual heritage. A quirky tidbit you learn is that in some Polynesian societies, the planting of a coconut tree upon the birth of a child was a common custom. This tree would grow alongside the child, symbolizing their life, providing shade, food, and resources throughout their lifetime. It was a living legacy, a tangible connection between generations, ensuring future abundance. Imagine having a tree that grows with you, providing for you your whole life. It's a powerful metaphor for the intergenerational connection that defines these communities. The coconut also plays a role in social status and exchange. While it is abundant, certain varieties or particularly large, perfect specimens might be considered more valuable, used as gifts in exchanges between chiefs or families to signify respect, alliance, or even as part of marriage arrangements. The sharing of coconut products, especially fresh coconut milk or toddy, often accompanies important social gatherings, solidifying bonds and fostering community cohesion. It's a shared experience that transcends mere consumption, becoming a ritual of fellowship. Historians still argue whether the specific spiritual beliefs surrounding the coconut predate or developed alongside its widespread practical utility, but its deeply intertwined role in both aspects of Polynesian life is undeniable. You realize that every interaction with a coconut, from drinking its water to offering it at a mari, carries a layer of cultural meaning. It's not just a fruit, it's a living embodiment of their history, their beliefs, and their very connection to the land and each other. You feel the weight of this spiritual significance, a quiet reverence for a plant that gives so much in so many ways, both tangible and intangible. As you journey deeper into the intricate web of Polynesian island life, it becomes clear that the coconut was not merely a subsistence crop, but also a valuable commodity in an extensive inter-island economic exchange system. While direct monetary economies, as you know them, didn't exist, a sophisticated system of barter and reciprocal gifting flourished, and coconut products were often at the heart of this vibrant trade, connecting distant communities and fostering specialized production. You observe the arrival of a large voyaging canoe from a neighboring island, laden not just with people, but with goods. Among the items being unloaded, you see carefully preserved baskets of dried fish, bundles of fine pandanus mats, and notably, specialized tools made from basalt rock not found on this island. In return, the welcoming islanders offer their own unique products, and among them, you distinctly see refined coconut oil, large quantities of dried coconut meat copra, and intricately woven coir cordage. This isn't just casual sharing. It's a carefully orchestrated exchange, driven by mutual need and the availability of specific resources on different islands. It's a mainstream historical fact that dried coconut meat, copra, and coconut oil were significant trade items in pre-European contact inter-island networks across Polynesia, exchanged for goods like specialized stone tools, fine mats, and certain types of timber. Imagine having a natural product that is so versatile and sought after that it literally fuels your economy and allows you to acquire things you couldn't otherwise produce. It's a powerful engine of trade, all from a tree. Some islands, due to their specific climate or agricultural practices, might have been particularly adept at producing a surplus of high-quality coconut oil. This surplus would then be packaged in sealed gourds or specialized containers and traded with islands that might be richer in volcanic stone for tools, or particular species of hardwood for canoes, or even certain types of birds for their feathers. This specialization meant that while every island had coconuts, some were coconut exporters of particular refined products, turning their natural abundance into a means of acquiring diverse goods. A quirky tidbit you learn is that sometimes the value of coconut products could even be tied to the prestige of the island or the status of the chief who produced them. A gift of finely scented coconut oil from a renowned chief might carry more social capital than a similar quantity from a lesser-known community, adding a layer of social dynamics to the economic exchange. It's not just about the item, it's about who produced it and where it came from, adding a fascinating complexity to their marketplace. Moreover, the long shelf life of dried coconut meat and oil made them ideal trade goods for long-distance voyaging. Unlike fresh fruits or perishable fish, these coconut products could withstand weeks or months at sea, ensuring that valuable goods arrived intact at their destination. This resilience made them a cornerstone of the regional economy, allowing for sustained trade relationships over vast distances. Historians still argue whether these trade networks primarily facilitated the movement of luxury goods, or if they played a more critical role in supplementing daily necessities for islands with specific resource deficiencies. But the undeniable flow of coconut products across the Pacific speaks volumes about their economic importance. You realize that the coconut wasn't just feeding communities. It was literally fueling their interconnectedness, fostering cultural exchange, and supporting a complex economic system that allowed them to thrive and expand. You observe the bustling scene of exchange, realizing that even without coins or markets, the flow of goods is just as dynamic, all thanks to the humble coconut and its many versatile forms. As you witness the myriad uses of the coconut, you begin to grasp a deeper truth about Polynesian society, their profound understanding of sustainability and adaptation. The coconut palm isn't merely a resource they exploited. It's a plant they intimately understood and nurtured, ensuring its perennial abundance. This wasn't a case of quick extraction. It was a partnership with nature, a testament to living in harmony with their environment. You observe their cultivation practices. While many palms grow wild, you also see evidence of deliberate planting and care. Saplings are protected, unproductive trees might be pruned, and the spacing of palms is often managed to maximize yield and access. This proactive cultivation ensures a steady supply of coconuts, rather than relying solely on random chance. It's a mainstream historical fact that Polynesian communities practiced sophisticated forms of agroforestry, including the deliberate planting and management of coconut groves, to ensure a sustained supply of resources for their growing populations. They didn't just wait for nature, they assisted it, enhancing its generosity. Their adaptation to the coconut is also evident in their societal structures. Knowledge of the coconut's stages, its various uses, and its cultivation techniques is passed down through generations, becoming an integral part of their oral traditions and practical education. Children learn from a young age how to climb the trees, how to husk and crack the shells, and how to extract the milk and oil. This intergenerational transfer of knowledge ensures that the vital skills necessary to thrive with the coconut are never lost. You see a young boy, barely tall enough to reach the lower fronds, already practicing husking a fallen coconut with a sharpened stick, his movements mimicking his father's. A quirky tidbit you learn is that certain communities had specific practices, almost like coconut rituals, for ensuring the health and productivity of their groves, including clearing undergrowth, fertilizing with natural materials like fish waste or ash, and even singing or chanting to the trees. This blend of practical agriculture with spiritual reverence underscores their deep connection to the plant, treating it not just as a crop, but as a living entity deserving of care. Imagine singing to your cornfield to ensure a good harvest. It's that level of dedication and belief in reciprocal care. Furthermore, The sheer adaptability of the Polynesians in utilizing every single part of the coconut palm is a masterclass in zero-waste living. From the nourishing water and meat to the durable shells, the strong coir fibers, the useful leaves, and even the sturdy trunk, nothing is discarded. Every component finds a purpose, minimizing waste and maximizing efficiency. This holistic approach ensures that the ecosystem remains balanced and the resource is not depleted. They don't have landfills because they don't produce waste in the way you understand it. Everything cycles back into use. Historians still argue whether the high population densities achieved on some Polynesian islands were sustainable primarily due to the exceptional productivity of the coconut palm and other staple crops, or if environmental factors and occasional resource shortages necessitated regular voyaging and inter-island exchange. However, the undeniable evidence points to a remarkable ability to adapt and thrive within the limits of their environment, with the coconut as a central pillar of this sustainable existence. You realize that this isn't just survival, it's a sophisticated system of living in harmony with nature, a deep understanding of ecological balance that often eludes your modern world. You feel a profound respect for their wisdom, watching how seamlessly they integrate their lives with the rhythms of the coconut, a living symbol of adaptation and enduring resilience. As your time in 18th century Polynesia draws to a close, you begin to observe the subtle, yet significant, shifts brought about by the arrival of European explorers and traders. While the Polynesians had a well-established system of coconut utilization, the Western perspective introduced new demands, new methods, and ultimately, a new economic paradigm that would forever alter the coconut's role in the Pacific. It's a fascinating, sometimes challenging, intersection of two very different worlds. You see the initial curiosity and admiration of the European visitors for the coconut palm. They are struck by its incredible versatility, recognizing its value for fresh water and sustenance, particularly for sailors suffering from scurvy or dehydration. Early accounts from figures like Captain Cook or Bougainville often describe the coconut with wonder, noting its importance to the islanders. They were often amazed at how healthy and robust the islanders were, attributing much of it to their diet of fresh fish, breadfruit, and of course, the ever-present coconut. For men who had spent months eating hardtack and salted meat, the abundance and freshness were a revelation. It's a mainstream historical fact that early European navigators and naturalists extensively documented the diverse uses of the coconut palm by Polynesian societies, recognizing its nutritional value and potential as a commodity. These accounts provided the first widespread European understanding of the coconut's utility beyond a mere tropical curiosity. You see European sailors attempting to husk coconuts with their cutlasses, often clumsily, compared to the islanders' effortless skill with a sharpened stick. It's a small, humorous clash of cultures, highlighting the deep indigenous knowledge that the newcomers lacked. However, this fascination soon turned into commercial interest. European traders, recognizing the demand for oils and fats in the burgeoning industrial economies of Europe, began to see the coconut as a source of copra, dried coconut meat, from which oil could be extracted on a larger scale. This marked a significant shift from localized subsistence to a global commodity market. You witnessed the initial, tentative attempts by traders to encourage the islanders to produce copra in larger quantities than they traditionally needed for their own use, often in exchange for iron tools, cloth, or other European goods. Imagine being offered a shiny metal axe in exchange for something you literally have growing everywhere. The novelty would be tempting. A quirky tidbit you learn is that some early European attempts to transport whole coconuts back to Europe were often unsuccessful, as they struggled to keep them viable on long voyages, leading to a greater focus on transporting the more stable, dried copra. They also struggled to replicate the specific growing conditions, highlighting the coconut's particular sensitivity to its environment. They couldn't just plant them anywhere and expect the same results. They wanted the benefits, but they couldn't just pluck the magic out of the ground back home. This introduction of a monetary or exchange-based economy, however limited, began to alter traditional Polynesian systems. While the coconut remained vital for daily life, its role as an export commodity slowly began to change the emphasis of its cultivation and production in some areas. Historians still argue whether the early European demand for copra significantly disrupted traditional Polynesian social structures, or if its impact was more gradual, primarily reinforcing existing trade patterns. Regardless, the seed of a new economic relationship was sown, one that would eventually integrate Polynesia more deeply into global trade networks. You reflect on this complex interplay of cultures, recognizing the resilience of the Polynesian way of life, even as new influences begin to ripple across their tranquil shores. The coconut, once solely a gift of nature, was now becoming a player in the emerging global economy, a testament to its enduring value, both locally and internationally. As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of soft orange and deep violet, you find yourself reflecting on the incredible journey you've taken through the world of the coconut in 18th century Polynesia. The gentle rhythm of the waves lapping against the shore begins to slow, mirroring the peaceful pulse of this ancient world. You've seen the coconut as the very breath of life, its water quenching your thirst, its tender meat nourishing your body. You've tasted the sweet toddy and savored the rich, creamy milk that enriched every meal. You felt the soft touch of its oil on your skin, protecting you from the relentless sun, and witnessed its quiet glow illuminating the deepest nights. From the strong, silent trunks that formed their homes to the resilient fibers that bound their mighty canoes, the coconut was there, always present, always providing. This wasn't just a plant. It was a companion, a collaborator, a silent partner in the remarkable adaptation of a people to their island world. It taught you about ingenious craftsmanship, about a deep-seated respect for nature, and about a way of life where every single part of a resource found its purpose. Remember the elegant curve of a polished shell bowl, or the quiet strength of coir rope binding a voyaging canoe. These details linger, weaving themselves into the tapestry of your understanding. Even as the world outside these islands changed, as European sails appeared on the horizon, the coconut continued its silent, steadfast work. It transitioned from a purely subsistence crop to a commodity of trade, bridging two vastly different worlds, yet never losing its profound significance to the islanders themselves. Its legacy endures, an omnipresent symbol of resilience, innovation, and interconnectedness. The air around you now feels cooler, the sounds of the night growing softer, more indistinct. The whispers of the palm fronds overhead seem to be fading into a lullaby, inviting you to close your eyes. You can almost feel the gentle breeze, carrying the faint, sweet scent of coconut blossoms through the tranquil darkness. Allow the imagery of swaying palms and glistening water to wash over you, smoothing out the edges of your day. Let the quiet hum of the ocean, the soft rustle of the leaves, guide you deeper into relaxation. There's no rush now, only the deepening calm. Feel the warmth of the sand beneath you. Imagine the gentle rise and fall of the tide, the quiet certainty of the stars beginning to pepper the velvet sky. Your mind is quiet, at peace. The stories of the coconut, of the resourceful people who lived by its grace, have settled within you, a gentle comfort. You've traveled far, learned much, and now it's time to rest. Allow these lingering thoughts to melt away, leaving only a sense of profound tranquility. Your journey through history is complete for tonight. Drift away into the soft, comforting silence as the echoes of the Polynesian waves softly recede. There is nothing left to do but surrender to the quiet, the darkness, and the promise of a peaceful, undisturbed sleep. Just breathe slowly and deeply, letting every last thought dissolve into the stillness that surrounds you. Sweet dreams.